welcome to Rage, you nerds. I am Mr. Cack. I am joined by Jared, who is then joined by TJ, who is then joined by me. And we are the nerds, and we're here to rage. And all sorts of tomfoolery. Boys, how are we doing?
I met tomfoolery once.
Well, you know what?
It was odd. He was very odd.
Smash the dinghy.
I don't need no damn tomfoolery telling me which beer to drink. You know what I mean?
That was the greatest thing.
We got stuff to talk about. Most of it's just Power Rangers. You know, we're just going to talk about Power Rangers for a good...
Go Power Rangers.
So does anyone have anything they do want to rant about first and foremost?
No, but if you hear my dog barking, he's being a pain tonight, so just a forewarning.
I would also like to say that, no, I don't have anything else that I'd want to address, but also, if you hear my dog barking, please call the Ghostbusters because my dog is dead.
And I would also like to say that if you hear my dog barking, it's probably my son, and he's pretending to be a dog. And he should be in bed, so, like, come on, y'all, let me know that. Yeah, okay. There was something I was going to say before all that, and I got completely... Oh, I hope nothing new happens. I hope literally jack crap happens between now and next Friday, because I don't know why. I don't know what elicited this. I do know what elicited this. I clicked on an article today, and it was like, do you remember how awesome this was? And it's like, I do remember. Like, now I want to talk about it. But basically, it wasn't an article. It was one of the Facebook little videos that, like, sometimes you scroll through and, like, they have, like, the reels or whatever from Instagram that are up. I watched one, and it was like, hey, do you remember what songs were popping off in 1999? And I was like, no. Elaborate. And it went through the list of songs just from that they had handpicked. And it was like 20 songs. So like, holy shit. What happened in 99, dude? 99 was a stacked year. So I would like to talk about 1999 movies and TV and just other general tomfoolery next week. I know we've done the 90s before, but I'd like to specify 1999, man. So much good stuff was happening. They were playing gosh dang music on MTV in a music video format.
See, back in the day, kids,
for like an hour.
MTV stood for music video television. That's bands used to do these videos that went with their songs, and it was like basically like a small 3-minute movie. Pretty cool stuff. And every band did these. Country music stars did these. Rap, R&B, you know, they all did these, and they put them mainly on this one channel on television. And if you wanted to watch a music video, that's where you went. Turns out, though, it was a premium channel. Now, some of you know what that is. A premium channel is something you got to pay extra for, right? Like right now, you know, Paramount Plus, MGM Plus, stuff like that. So cable came up with an alternative shortly before and then called VH1. What does VH1 stand for? I have no idea. But they did a little bit of the same until they started transitioning to reality videos and reality shows, because that was the game. And Earth has never been the same since. There's your history lessons, kid. Don't mess up a good thing.
You know, kind of touching on what Jared said is, you know, bands still do music videos, but they all put them on YouTube. You know, there's no actual television station. And the thing about like MTV or VH1, CMT, or, you know, GAC, because those were like the four, you know, music video stations. Like GAC and CMT were for country music, MTV and VH1 was for everything else. You know, if you wanted to see a music video, you had to watch and wait for them to play that music video.
Oh gosh.
And if you missed it, for a second, you know, I mean, if you just, you know, were 3 minutes off and you just caught the tail end of it, your whole day was ruined because you had to sit there and watch until they, you know, played it again. Or like if it was like rock and heavy metal music, you know, you had to wait till like midnight on a certain hour for them to play any kind of music videos there. But here's the thing about, you know, some of these music videos, right? They weren't just videos. Like Jared said, you know, they were basically like little movies. But some artists, I think Alan Jackson, I think, did this. He would release a music video, but then have something at the end that would tie it to the next music video he released. And of course, they would drop songs like every month or so. So you'd have to wait a month before you saw what happened next.
Alan Jackson did that, but I think the one you're thinking of is Tracy Lawrence with the
Oh, it
Every
was
World
Tracy
Had a-
Lawrence.
Yeah, Texas Tornado, every rose has its thorn. Did I really just say that? Tracy
Yes.
Lawrence, y'all, wrote Every Rose Has Its Thorn. No, it was if the world had a front porch. How did I get from front porch to anyway? That's been 25 years ago. That's how that happened.
Fair.
It was Tracy Lawrence. Yeah. Good times.
All right, yeah. Well, now that I feel really old, let's kick it to that trailer, Mr. Cack.
Well, nowadays, everybody want to talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move their lips. This is just a bunch of gibberish, and motherfuckers act like they forgot about Dre. There's my F-bomb for the night. I gladly wear that cross. I'm sorry it happened so soon. To any mothers in the audience, do know I'll refrain. Until later.
I was wondering if we were gonna have to sit there through like another BRB after we just took our BRB. We're gonna have to go through that BRB.
I mean, we just said that we were taking a BRB. I don't know what we're doing.
That Cack has tricked us again.
I don't know if you guys have seen the trailer for so they've done a teaser trailer for the currently in production Penguin series that's coming to Max. That is set. It takes place immediately after the events of the Batman. And it kind of shows the Penguin's transition from where we last saw him to the kingpin of Gotham's underbelly. It looks like a gritty Sopranos set in Gotham. It is like the vibe I picked up from it. So I'm kind of interested.
That's kind of how I felt. That's kind of how I feel like Penguin's character.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in it. I kind of like at first I was like, man. Even Colin Farrell, like I just don't think I loved him in the movie. I just don't think I could stomach like 6-8 episodes of that. Like, what's going to be the point of that? And then I saw the in production trailer, and I was like, you know what? All right, I think maybe you conned me back into it, Matt Reeves, that wants to spin off every single character in the Batman universe. Sure, let's do it. I'm in.
Well, I mean, in fairness to him, they keep throwing him money. So what's he supposed to do? Be like, nah.
Yeah.
I don't want to do Catwoman.
Yeah.
Which is a lie, because I definitely, most certainly do.
Wait, double entendre. So
I don't speak French. I'm sorry.
Sacre bleu. Do you guys want to talk about Vince McMahon, or you guys want to talk about Power Rangers?
Let's do Power Rangers. I don't care about wrestling tonight.
That's fair.
Vince McMahon has got a mustache now. He never had a mustache before. Now he's got a mustache, and he's back in charge. And they sold the company, kind of. We don't know. There, wrestling.
We don't know. I think that's what probably bothers me the most is that we don't know. I think that's...
I like that. We don't know. Yeah, wrestling.
There, you happy now?
make that the...
Jimmy,
print
it! Jimmy, get it to the presses. The people have to know.
He's going to be a star.
I don't want to talk Vince McMahon wrestling because I'm just kind of fed up after Cody Rhodes didn't win the title at WrestleMania. I'm just kind of done with WWE.
That's fair.
So, yeah.
Well, we've got some Go-Go Power Rangers that recently happened on the Netflix, and TJ prefaced us with a text message earlier this week, said, "Have you guys seen it? I want to talk about it." So I promptly went to go watch it, and while I was watching it, I was like, you know what? I think I understand why TJ wants to have a talk about it. Like, there's some stuff, right? There's layers to this onion that is the Power Rangers movie, and I'm not specifically sure which layer you want to go with, but I'm excited, TJ. So this was your text. This was your push. TJ, the floor is yours to start off this convo.
I just kind of wanted to kind of openly discuss it because there's some things about it that were like, you know what, this was really beautiful, it was really well done, but there's some things I was like, that's a little dark. You know? Like, okay, so spoiler alert here, you know, if there's anybody still actually watching us, we're gonna spoil this. So I think when we watched the trailer, we were like, you know, who's the Green Ranger going to be? Who's, you know, going to be, you know, whatever Ranger, you know, how are they going to do this? Right. So the first thing is you learn that all of the original Rangers are the original Rangers. Like Kimberly is still the Pink Ranger. Jason is still the Red Ranger. Tommy's the Green Ranger for some reason, even though the green power coin was destroyed and he became the White Ranger. Why the frick did he become the Green Ranger again? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Sorry. Go
Trini is the Yellow Ranger. We've got that solved. Here's my problem with it is they just kind of throw this out there, but in a way to write them off. It's like, well, let's have this lizard monster that sounds a lot like Cobra Commander from G.I. Joe. I don't know if anyone noticed that.
Oh, yeah.
Let's have them shrink down after we kill off Trini, just because obviously we can't have that character back because their actress passed away in real life. So I understand that, and it does set up for, the good, a good story there. But so let's these people that we could have back, let's just go ahead and shrink them down and, bring in some other people who are actually available to do this. So that's kind of where I'm at. There's some things there that were just kind of like, all right, I see why they did this, but at the same time, if it's a 30th anniversary show, movie, whatever, it felt like it was lacking in so much for me. So what'd y'all think?
Jared, would you like to go next?
I don't know. How much do you feel like you could actually rage or rant on this one? Because I feel like mine is very short.
Okay, go for it then.
All right. So where I'm at on this, TJ used words like beautiful, and he's right. It is very beautiful in the way that they did a couple of things. They brought mostly everyone, back in some way. And again, I say everyone, not all everyone, because I'm prior obligations, contracts, whatever. The characters of those people were supposed to be there, even though the actors weren't in the film. When we watched the trailers, one of the things that I said is I wanted a Bulk and Skull, some kind of ode, whether they were in it or not. They did get that. I can't remember what the sign said, but it was some sort of sign. I was kind of like, all right, cool. Check that off the list. They did a nice ode to the characters, because in that opening scene, Billy refers to the Red Ranger as Jace, assuming Jason, even though they're never in. So of course they get the new generation's Power Rangers in Red Ranger, Pink Ranger, and whatnot. Zordon has been, Zordon's still dead. Alpha gets to come back, which I thought was cool. Everything that I wanted to see as a Power Rangers fan from when I was 13 in like 1997, they kind of touched on all that and then gave me a little heartfelt as an adult. This is Trini's daughter, who has been studying for so long, and so the movie does tug at your heart. I give him an A in that. I give him an A in nostalgia for bringing back those characters. Here is where I'm at a crux. Two things. Number one, this movie and the series was the same way, so it's fine, but they tried to wrap it up in a movie, and it was just this. I mean, this movie is more campy than Batman. It's more campy than Batman. It's campy. It's a goddamn campground full of campiness, and it's so campy that I built a fucking fire in my room. That's how campy this movie was, and I was roasting marshmallows while I was watching it, just playing a banjo. That's how campy this was, and I hate that. I hate that they just couldn't make it better. However, having said that, it was okay. The second thing I didn't like about it, I'm with TJ. They said we have some of the original actors and a kind of story. What do you want to do? And they said, throw it up against that wall, and whatever runs down is the movie we'll make. This story was shit. It's shit. It's total shit. And I think I'm so mad about that is because I expected so much more. I felt like I might not get more when we watched the trailer. And of course, when we watch trailers, TJ and me, and what do we say? It looked good. Don't screw it up. I won't go as far as saying they screwed this up, but they had an amazing opportunity to do something really, really good, and they underperformed. I would give this movie 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10, even though it had most of the elements that I wanted, tugged at the heart, gave you all the emotional things there. no substance though. I mean, and to maybe that was their goal. Maybe that's all they were doing. They were looking to give some people closure who, in 1997 was like, well, I wish we could have had a thing to go to show how they all ended up with those Power Rangers. And what's the deal with the flying stupid car too? That's another thing. Was that in something else that I missed? This flying car that all of a sudden she's never had a day of training on. She just hops in. It's like, well, let's fly this car out of here. It's a flying car. I didn't see Doc Brown. Nobody saw Marty McFly anywhere. She just takes off in this car that can fly and flies it effortlessly, having never sat in it prior to that. Which again, okay, that's part of the sci-fi. I said this was going to be short. It's a little bit longer because I got pissed. But yeah, that was my thoughts. They underperformed on what could have been a very good movie, and it sort of pisses me off.
Man, now I'm legit just interested to know if that car did make an appearance anywhere else. It has to, right? Like it has to be. It has to be.
He had Billy had a Volkswagen Beetle in the series. Like I saw something like all these Easter eggs, like 20, 30 some odd Easter eggs in the Power Rangers Once and Always, where Billy did have like a Volkswagen Beetle in the series. So I think what it's meant to be is kind of like his culmination of what he was doing with that car, right? Which, he's Power Rangers. He can make, I think another thing I found interesting about the series though is a few things. Not only was, it was basically they did what they could do with what they had. It wasn't a full length feature thing. It was basically like 2 or 3 episodes of the series, right? It's just a continuation of the series. So it wasn't like a big like theatrical kind of thing, but it really did like feel like in a couple of episodes of the series. However, I found interesting, like Billy takes over the secret base, I guess, that they have, turns it into his business.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, well, all these Power Rangers, there's this weird, building up on the hill. We don't know what's going to it, but we see some colorful lights fly to it every now and then.
Shoots out rainbows and it receives rainbows, man.
So he turns it into his business, but he's like, all my employees don't know what's down here. Pff, come on. I mean, here's another thing. It's like you're telling me after 30 years, not only are you still a Power Ranger, but people also don't know that you're a Power Ranger after 30 years.
It's like that episode of Robot Chicken where like they all know that Darth Vader doesn't actually have that power, and they just pretend that he does. That's kind of like it's like oh no. What's an employee name? Kathy. No, Kathy. This is not the home of the Power Rangers, right, Billy? I forgot. This is Power Rangers don't exist and they're not real. It's like it's very much a Clark Kent Superman kind of thing, right? It's like how do you like to all of us watching? We're like really.
So a couple things though with this that I kind of found interesting is one, you actually get to see the putties die.
Yes.
Right.
Finally.
They explode and turn into rubble and then melt away. Right. 2, the amount of actual attempted murder in this as compared to the actual Power Rangers, where it's just like, we're monsters, we're just gonna run amok and smash things, where there's a putty throwing a girl off of a freaking side of a building.
That stuck in my mind so
but then like the straight up murder of the Yellow Ranger at the first of it, and then just like and then like okay, you see Billy run Robo Rita through with his spear, right? And then you see them literally like, you see the Red Ranger take his sword and just like impale like the monster.
Yeah.
And then you see like, the Black Ranger literally execute with his rifle Robo Rita, right? So it's just the amount of violence.
This was rated R compared to the television show.
Exactly. It's one of those things. You remember that it was like a YouTube video thing where it's like the Power Rangers like grown up, and then like like the Black Ranger's like in a strip club, and has to morph to like fight. And he ends up getting like killed or something, and all this stuff like happens to like the Rangers. It's really just ultra violent, and that's kind of like where I kind of went with this. Where I was thinking about it was, It's like, wow, this got extremely like more violent compared to the series, because in the series, the only time they defeated a monster, they just like light slash and then they turn around and the monster explodes. But this one, they're really just like running them through with their swords and shooting them point blank execution style while she's pinned to the side, like to the thing, and it's like, okay, they've really kind of
very
grown
mafia
up here.
style. Very
They've
mafia style.
grown
Hey
up.
Rita, think you're bad, eh? You mess with my friends, I'm gonna run you through.
But like, I mean, just little things like that where it's kind of like, okay, well, they kind of grew up a little bit, but at the same time, it kind of gets me wondering what happened between season 3 and 30 years later, because one, Trini had a kid, but there's no dad. Who's the kid's father? And it got
Mr.
me
Cat's
thinking
gonna have
too.
to put some ominous music over that right now, with like TJ's face or my face doing this with that like question mark thing on.
I've kind of come up with a little story on my own to where
hell.
Jason was the father. After a rough night fighting evil monsters, Trini and Jason hooked up. Trini knew, but she didn't have time to tell Jason before she was murdered by Rita. So Jason doesn't even know.
That may have been the most disturbing thing I've ever heard you say in my entire life.
She was sitting on that sequel she was sitting on that secret for like 16 years then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like, she wasn't going to tell him.
Mom, why can't the Red Ranger come over? I don't like him.
I told you which colors can come over. Blue, black, pink, green.
But it's funny too. It's like all of a sudden, it's this 16-year-old kid's left an orphan, and then someone just like moves in. It's like, hey, I was friends with your parents, and they just move in. It's like, what?
Well, okay, so like Zach's raising her, right?
Yep.
Yeah, now he is.
Well,
no one else
goes, your mom's dead. Dang, TJ. Well, now he is. I think it's painfully obvious at that point that something happened. Why another man is raising. I'm sorry. Somebody get the restraints for TJ, please.
TJ.
He's trying to be funny and he's being really funny, but it's like. I'm sorry, who else is talking?
So, okay.
Great movie, but turns out Zach's not her dad. We don't know who it is. Thanks, TJ.
But her mom died.
Time.
But her mom died. Did you guys look to see that his missing finger?
Yes,
oh, shit.
The whole time I could not stop seeing it every time.
I'm gonna have to go watch it again.
Good. The thing that I both loved. So, Jared, I think to go back to something that you said about how just campy it is, and that overall lowers the quality of like what the movie, like it goes from being a movie to a movie. But isn't that like the essence of the Power Rangers that we watch? Like, a part of me is like, did they intentionally make it that way? So it's basic. So it's just like, oh yeah, this feels familiar. Like, I do remember this very robotic way of talking like people, and how awkward it sounded in reality. And like the fact that they're in a restaurant, they're at the juice bar, and there are people literally working out at this establishment, and they're just like, nothing's changed.
Could never do that today. Yes, I need a smoothie and I need 10 minutes on the bench there. But no, I see what you're saying, and I think I think the big difference here is when we last saw them in Angel Grove at the juice bar when they were pumping iron. We were 13 years old, and that kind of dialogue spoke to us because our minds were very teeny tiny and not developed. And now that we're approaching. Zig. That's German. Now that we're approaching there, we're that much older, and that kind of dialogue really gets under our skin because there's like, why are you talking to me like I'm a 4-year-old? I'm 40. I'm a man. the soundbite that keeps on giving.
I think the thing that gets me about this, though, is just how much more violent it was visually
Yes, it was.
than the series was. Like, than any of the Power Rangers series are. You know, just with the straight up murder and the attempted murders that happen throughout it. It's kind of like, okay. So, Kak, what were your thoughts on it?
I mean, honestly, the putty throwing that lady off of the building, the stairwell, I forget exactly what it was, but her just like getting lifted up and chunked. I was like, oh damn, they're gonna kill her. Like, they've already set the tone that they'll kill people in this. I think for me, thing that stood out, so not to rehash anything anyone said, but to touch on the fact that it was violent, the fact that like within the first minute, Rita's like, aha, Rita, quippy, quippy, quippy. Also, I'm going to kill you. And it's like, wait a minute. Did she say the K word? Like, can they say that? And then, like, later on, she's after the fact, she's like, well, I've killed one Ranger. I've never killed it again. Like, oh my God, Rita, calm down. Chill, Robo Rita. You dirty bitch. You are just getting a little bit, too. But yeah, like, the fact that, like, Rita's just, like, everyone's doing like the normal Power Rangers, like kind of campy one-liners, and Rita's like, "I'm gonna kill you," and it's like, "What? What? Did you say you were going to thrill us?" And she's like, "No, I'm going to murder you. Homicide. That's what it's gonna be." And I'm like, "All right, Rita, that's what a villain should be, right? Like that." The villains weren't trying to slap spank the Rangers. The villains were trying to kill these talented teens with attitude every chance they got. And kudos to Rita. She succeeded.
She finally got a couple of them.
Good job,
I mean,
Rita.
That's another takeaway that I didn't even think about. Rita, after all these years, after 10,000 years, she's free, and she finally, after being thwarted and Angel Grove being rebuilt 500 times because these Zords came through. Nobody died, but the city was destroyed 19 times at least. And Rita could never overcome. And then, by God, she got 2 of them.
She got 1. She didn't get 2. Who was the second one?
Oh, no, she did get 1. I was thinking
Yeah.
of
So
thinking
essentially what I'm hearing is after 10,000 years, Rita finally killed 1 person.
She's like,
so that's if you don't.
10,000 years. I'm gonna kill your Rangers.
She's Barry Horowitz. Rita's Barry Horowitz.
Hey, that's if you don't go by the Japanese like storyline where it's Bandora the witch, which is why they kept saying Bandora a whole lot. At first I was like, have I missed something? And then I looked it up, and that's what Rita's character is called in the Japanese version.
I just thought it was some.
Is that what's like the
Harry Potter spell?
The Bandora Protocol, and then her castle on the moon was called Bandora's Place or Palace, something like that. But like,
well, you know the.
But like her story there is like she's like this, you know, she's a witch and she has a son, and then the son dies because of dinosaur. So then she just loses her shit and starts murdering dinosaurs. So Rita's been killing stuff, just not in the American version because we watered that stuff down because our delicate sensibilities couldn't handle a space witch coming and killing dinosaurs. This country, man. TJ, you were saying?
I was say something along the lines of. I lost it. I can't remember what it was. I mean, it was. Yeah, I can't remember.
It's gone. It's gone.
It's gone.
The dialogue at certain points was so jarring with what was happening in the moment because again, they were doing their Power Rangers like we're hip one-liners from the 90s, and it's like, y'all, your friend just died. Like, what are we doing? Why are we talking with no emotion in our voice right now? It's like, and like they pull in the other Rangers for the Bandora stuff, and they're like, oh, I was picking my son up from soccer, but I guess it's time for another drill. He's like, no, bitch, the queen's here. Like, I don't know. Like, we don't just do this to dick around. Like, what are you?
Okay, anyone else kind of jarred that Tommy and Kat were the ones that ended up together, not Tommy and Kimberly?
I'm sure there's some angry fan fiction writer out there right now losing their mind.
That was so like, like in the series, it was so evident that it was like those two, And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a minute. It wasn't those two. But those two still work together.
So what I can relate to this, and I think I did in one of my 31 days for Halloween last year, where it can only equate to like, something bad happens, but like it's so it's like, dude, so and so's dead. What? No way, bro. Like totally way, bro. What was that? I can't remember what it was, but that's what that reminded me of. It's like your friend's just been killed, and they're like, it's okay. Let's get to the top of the mountain. It's like, do we leave her? Should somebody say a prayer or something, or like, does anybody have a rosary? But yeah, no, well, and that goes back to campy.
Yeah.
I still got some marshmallows if y'all want some.
All right. So right quick, before we move on to anything else, let's see. Here we go. Will it show it? Oh, does Netflix block it? Okay, it doesn't. Oh, wow. Netflix blocks out their stuff. That's impressive. Oh, dang.
Right,
never mind.
Netflix going in for the kill.
I was just gonna show a clip of the lady just getting chunked the fuck up. Because that's like my highlight. I can't wait for that to be made into a GIF because I am going to watch that so often. So let me just.
I'm going to use it. I'm going to try to use it everywhere. When it's like it's like when the office guy gets thrown out of the window. I'll just
let you guys see it again.
Okay, let's watch it.
But there's Bulk and Scully, so that's awesome.
Oh, did they do it here too?
I like that. I like the Bulk and Scully thing. The shit.
I've got black
I can't
screen.
see it.
Yeah,
Netflix
screen. Is like stopped your shit, bro.
Oh wow, you guys can't see it at all either.
Black screen.
That's impressive. Netflix, all right. That's impressive, y'all.
Remember when Joe Biden a long time said learn to code? Netflix was like, let's get us some code.
Are you sure he said
that
learn to code, or he just didn't?
Not on my watch.
Are you sure he said learn to code, or he just said learn to code? And like he was just saying that he had a cold.
Hey,
God bless you, President. He just breaks off into Eminem's rap god. I'm gonna feel like a rap god.
And I'm back.
But yeah, that was the thing. It's just like there was the weird campy dialogue, and it's like they were murdering people. They just executed. I know it's a monster, it's a robot monster, but they just cold blood execute this thing, and it's like, well, can't wait to, or we really took her head off, or some like weird shit like that. Where it's like, okay, y'all are murderers.
Very Austin Powers-ish. It's like, I guess. She won't have a leg to stand on.
TJ, to your point, because you were running through like the cold-blooded murdering that the Rangers did, stuff like that. You didn't mention Snizzard getting so typical fashion of the Megazord fight, and I hate that they used an all CGI Megazord. I wanted it to be a person in the suit. But typically the Megazord does a slash. There's like a laser light that goes across them, and then they explode. This one, they jump over, stab it in the kidney, and when they retract the blade out, green blood. The first time I have ever seen blood in any format in a Power Rangers thing, you see the green blood go flinging off the blade and coming out of the thing's side as it's just like, I've just been snapped, and it just like blows up because he said some weird quippy bullshit before he died in true Power Rangers fashion. This snake has been snipped, and it just like blows up. But yeah, I was waiting for the diagonal cut, but instead it was like this Game of Thrones-esque dagger stab into their side. And honestly, I wasn't paying attention, but they probably twisted it just to make sure he bled out. But yeah, it was the most violent in appearance, but like everything else was PG around it, just like the way they talked and how they acted. But you have a putty picking a lady up over its head and yeeting her off a stairwell. Oh, I love it.
I was thinking about it too. It's like whenever they had the magnet and they had the trapped the Minotaur and the lizard thing, and they're like the kid's like, "You killed my mom," and they're like, "We work for an intergalactic warlord. You're gonna have to be more specific."
That's a good point.
Oh, okay. So on that point, Billy or Zach, I forget which one of them said it to Trini's daughter. It's like she wanted revenge because bloodthirsty AF, right? But they were like, we don't listen. Killing isn't the quick. Y'all, you have been killing monsters every day of the week for apparently 30 years. And now you have a moral we're just going to let them. So you think letting those things potentially slowly die stuck to a magnet is more humane than what you've been doing, which is causing them to explode in your local parks and playgrounds. Okay, all right.
Playgrounds, they're doing it down in the business district.
Yeah, well,
It's
they're
like
doing it
San
in Eddie's
Francisco
juice
all
bar.
over.
But yeah, it's just like that's the moral high ground. They killed Trini. Like, what are you doing? Well, violence begets violence. Shut up. You were handpicked to be violent. Zordon wasn't like, give me teens with communication skills. It's like,
I'm gonna need one person that knows how to collate this goddamn fax machine.
quick, Alpha. Look for mediation and introverted skills. Like, no, like he was like, hey, which ones have like a juvie record? Pull them in.
Alpha, I need you to find me 5 teenagers that have been convicted of armed robbery, who also have trained in ninjutsu.
Zordon,
Find me 5 teenagers that in 30 years will be convicted murderers.
Zordon, I found 5 teenagers from loving homes. Alpha, that's not what I asked for. You know what I wanted, Alpha. Do it again.
Did you ever get the fact, did you ever get the thought that like at some point, you know, Zordon would say something to Alpha, Alpha would answer back, and Zordon, he never said it, but he just, damn it, Alpha. Like he's just pissed beyond belief, but he can't get out of that tube to beat the out of Alpha.
Next, he was
like always disappear, like whenever he's not needed or something like that. Then they're like Zordon,
I don't
and
really
he
know
just kind of
Zordon's
reappears.
thing. It's just it's a fluorescent light, is what it is. It's a gigantic fluorescent light. Zordon lives in the mercury, and you know, I'm not even sure that Zordon is real. Maybe there was a leak in the fluorescent bulb, and they all inhaled the gases. Billy built Alpha. This could all be a thing. Maybe that was it. You know, maybe Zordon's not even real. The whole reason he's not there anymore is the crack in the glass, and the gas got out. All the fluorescent gas escaped.
Zordon was the
Where's
friends we
Zordon?
made along
Where's
the way.
Which me and TJ both know that if that was actually a fluorescent light bulb, it would not crack, it would explode.
What happened to Alpha 6 and 7? 8 gets
there's a
possessed
mystery
and
there,
turned,
isn't it?
8 gets possessed and turned into Rita Robo Rita.
Right.
And
Yes.
then 9 is the one that we see. 5 is the one that we originally get. I'm sure, yeah, he has been killed, but did
What
we ever
happened
start
to
like
Alpha 1 through 4?
Oh,
those ones
'Cause we
found
start
before
with
our
Alpha
time,
5.
TJ. Before
those
our
ones
time.
found teens that were excelling in the arts and and literature.
They found, yeah.
Or robotics and said, Alpha, is this what you really want to do? Because I can flick this switch right here after I take your back panel off.
I think the series does like talk about, because Alpha 5 does, I think, get destroyed or something, and then they bring in Alpha 6. And then I think it's throughout like all the Power Ranger series, you have to watch to see which Alpha you're getting, kind of thing.
Alpha 5 is alive. Oh wait, that's Johnny. Never mind. Alpha was fine being enslaved by sentient flesh beings. Alpha 5 wanted to be alive. Or Johnny 5. Sorry, Alpha 5. You wanted to be subservient.
I'm a real boy, Zordon.
Alpha 4. What teens
Shut
have you
up,
brought me this
Alpha.
time? I've brought the ones that excel in marching band. Alpha. You know how this is gonna end. Who are they going against? Lord Zed has sent Macho, the Macho Monster, and Alpha, go ahead and start looking for the next 5. We'll try again in a
Zordon,
decade.
turns out these 5 people skilled in horticulture can't use swords.
Alpha.
But they grew some nice marijuana.
Alpha, what teams did you find this time? They were very helpful, Zordon. They came to our door wearing white button-up shirts. 5 Mormons have been sent.
We could have like an Alpha 1.4 series. It's just like Alpha and Zordon trying to find the teens and always finds like 5 different ones. And then it always just ends with Zordon going, Alpha.
Alpha.
Can you picture it for just a second? This monster comes down. I am Lord Zed. I am here to take your souls. Do you have a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?
No, I'm Goldar.
Smash the
I'm
dinghy.
flying monkey thing.
It's morphin time. They straighten their ties.
It's morphin time, but we're not using dinosaurs because reasons. Because they weren't on the Ark, all right? Shit! Zordon, you.
Alpha.
Alpha. Find other children. I appreciate that for his war, he definitely was dedicated to bringing teens and young children to battle. That's always a
floating head.
That's
he
a
brought
very
a bunch of teens and children to the giant floating head.
that's a very Japanese culture thing. I've watched so many anime where it's like, we have adults, but children, you're getting the special powers, and most of you will die. But this is a loss we can accept. Right quick, and then we'll call it a night. Let's run. You guys want to run? It doesn't matter. I'm gonna make you run through a list. People that almost got casted in Jurassic Park. Do you want to guess at any names, or maybe just give you some names?
Let's guess.
Okay.
I like playing games.
All right.
Almost got cast.
Almost got cast for Jurassic Park, the first one.
Like, okay.
He's gonna just
Are we just guessing names or?
So this individual. So
Bing
think
Crosby.
So think back. Think back to the 90s. This individual was famous for acting at that point in time. Was in line for the Ellie Sattler role, which went to, was it Laura Dern? Is that?
Yes, Laura Dern.
So this actress, by this time, had starred in a very prominent sitcom and was in a couple of other movies that I didn't really know at point, but really made a big splash in the movie scene after Jurassic Park was released in another movie that seems very relatable to the area of the country we live in.
Jennifer Aniston.
No. Well, not who I'm talking about right now is what I'll say.
Whoa, there might be more. Relatable to the part of the country we live in.
We might have just survived one of these things occurring.
Helen Hunt.
Helen Hunt. Helen Hunt was in consideration and had tried out an audition for the Ellie Sattler role.
That wouldn't have worked. That wouldn't have worked at all.
Let's see. Because TJ said it, and because I think it's actually on, maybe not. I've read so many lists today. Okay, so it's not good. I was like, oh God, I hope that's not on the list. All right. There was another person up for Ellie Sattler. Her name was Juliette Binoche. No one knows who she is. She was in some artsy fartsy stuff, but she's on the list, so she's there. Is she really?
I don't know.
Oh God, she was offered a part on Schindler's List.
Yeah, Julie. She got hit by a bus. She's dead.
All right, this person.
That's a little Happy Gilmore joke. She's not really dead that I know of.
This person is maybe one of the funniest people still alive.
Adam
and
Sandler.
Nope.
Jeff Goldblum.
And was offered or was what was it? He auditioned for this and did a remarkably good job for Jeff Goldblum's eventual Ian Malcolm. This person got their start doing some sketch comedy. This person is smoking.
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey could have been Ian Malcolm. What would you think about that?
It wouldn't have worked.
Oh, it wouldn't have worked.
Apparently, he had a really good audition. So, Richard Attenborough
Not
was
good
cast.
enough.
Yeah, true. Richard Attenborough was cast to play John Hammond, the owner of Jurassic Park and founder of InGen. But this quirky old man, there was a possibility for someone else to star in that role. Let's see but he declined it. He declined the role. This person likes things shaken, not stirred. This person goes home and bangs the cheerleader.
So it's not. Connery. I don't think it was. Was it Sean Connery?
Sean Connery. Sean
Okay.
Connery was offered the role of John Hammond and said no.
Sorry, having a wonderful time in the Bahamas right now.
I don't see that movie making anything.
One of the biggest, probably within this time frame, probably at the height of child actors in films. She had a chance to be to be the daughter or the whatever, the granddaughter in this film. She had already starred in a film featuring a family, but she could have been in this one as the young female lead.
Kirsten Dunst.
No, but that's a really good guess.
That chick from Full House.
Not Drew Barrymore. This one, her big break was in 1991, so before Jurassic Park by a couple years. And there was a very catchy jingle to the theme song. This movie was based on a comic book strip that was also a TV series. Da-na-na-na.
What was the name of the movie?
Da-na-na-na.
Did I give
Addams
it away?
Family?
Christina Ricci.
Christina Ricci, yep.
I said Morticia, which was also wrong.
Christina
Wednesday.
Ricci could have been John Hammond's eldest granddaughter. I think at the moment...
I think that could have worked.
That one probably could have worked, but that one would have been so much better if we were forward thinking and like, okay,
Yes.
eventually they would have an opportunity to be in the Jurassic World trilogy.
Yeah.
Christina Ricci would have been a great addition into that with all the mess of it. This guy fought a shark. He's known for fighting a shark.
Samuel L. Jackson.
No.
He's already in the movie, so that's not him.
Yeah, he is in the movie. Yeah, he is in the movie. Let's see. He was going to be Dr. Alan Grant because he was Steven Spielberg's top choice for it. But he ended up missing on the project because he could not agree on the economic compensation for it.
Money.
Yeah.
Schneider or something? Roy Schneider?
Roy Schneider?
Nope.
No,
This
it's not him.
individual was also in The Goodbye Girl. And that's maybe not a movie you know, but maybe this one is. It wasn't the first kind or the second kind, but he was in the third kind. Encounters.
Oh crap! What's his guy's
Of third
name?
kind.
He wasn't Roy Schneider.
Richard Dreyfuss. Yep, Richard Dreyfuss was one of the top choices to play Dr. Alan Grant.
That wouldn't have worked.
Just wouldn't work. Okay, so I'm just gonna flat out say this one. Another Ian Malcolm, Michael Keaton. Would you have liked to see Michael Keaton as Ian Malcolm?
That would have worked. I think it would have worked.
Okay. I mean, he Michael Keaton has a craziness to him.
I mean,
That's one big
he
pile
can
of
get
shit.
nuts. He can get nuts.
Yeah,
If you want to get nuts, I mean,
the inflection wouldn't have been as calm as what Goldblum does,
Or confusing.
but there would have been like, or kind of like pseudo. Is he trying to f everyone? Because that kind of what Goldblum's Ian kind of.
Yeah,
is he
well,
wanting to sex
Keaton
everyone?
would have been like, hi.
All right, Alan Grant could have been Kurt Russell.
I think Kurt Russell is one of those people that you could put him in any role and he can adapt to that role. I feel like Kurt is very good at that. And I feel like he could have possibly. Now, I think where Sam Elliott has a little bit better, Alan Grant's character is supposed to be, he's kind of a square, right? He's kind of a square. Kurt Russell is not a square. And I don't know. I think that would be the biggest challenge is getting Kurt Russell to well, no, I take that back. There was a movie called, not Ransom. He did one in the 1990s too. They kidnap his wife. And it's about a bunch of semi-truck drivers. It's a very good movie that I can't think of the name of right now. And he plays kind of a scared, I don't know what to do kind of guy. So I think he could pull that off. I think not that Alan Grant was scared, but he was vulnerable and skeptical. I think that could work. What do you think, TJ?
He was offered the role, TJ, so it could have very well been him.
Kurt Russell could have been Alan Grant.
Yeah, I mean, he was. Wasn't he Snake Plissken?
He was twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, he could have played like that down in the dirt kind of archaeologist type, you know,
with
like
an eye
not
patch.
the square, you know.
And unfortunately, this just didn't come to be because of expected pay, so he rejected the offer. Thankfully, he was able to land on his feet in a lovely little film called Tombstone, released in the same year as Jurassic Park. Now, let's see. Is there anyone else I'm missing? Sean Connery, Jim Carrey, that lady. Oh, this is a big one, and this is the last one. Another Alan Grant. Harrison Ford.
Yes. I want to say he was
Steven Spielberg's first choice.
Yes. I did know that one.
Let's see.
I think Harrison Ford playing another archaeologist.
Yeah, I think that's
would have been a little on the nose.
What?
It's first I was fighting Nazis, now I'm fighting dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. I hate these guys.
Yeah, he goes from fascist empire to fascist Nazis to fascist dinosaurs.
That's the tagline for the movie.
It's a velociraptor with a little Hitler mustache. Where are the children? Maybe there's a parallel in the story that I never picked up on, where like the dinosaurs were the Nazis all along.
And that's how we say goodbye in the Jurassic area, Dr. Jones.
That's a bingo. Christoph Waltz. Christoph Waltz is a bad mother.
Oh, he's my favorite person on the planet. I love Christoph Waltz.
Oh, I love him in Inglourious Bastards.
I love him in everything that he does.
Yeah, I love him.
He's just so good at it.
All right, but those are the Robin White. I don't even know who Robin White is, but Robin Wright. Robin Wright.
Jenny.
Oh
Jenny
God, yeah, that is Jenny.
Wright.
It could have been Ellie Sattler.
Okay, so that's 90. That was 93. Forrest Gump came out in 90. I could see that. Robin Wright, she's got a range. I feel like she could have made that work. But I feel like Laura did the best. Laura was kind of made for that role.
So we don't know who not his Alan Grant. We don't know who his for sure Hammond or Malcolm choice was, but apparently Laura Dern was his first choice for Ellie. So he got that fit. So if we slot it in based on kind of what we know, Jurassic Park could have been Laura Dern, Harrison Ford. Let's just say Sean Connery was a top choice. Let's say he was the first choice.
Holy crap.
And because of the working relationship, I don't think it's too much of a stretch to say Michael Keaton probably was a top contender for Ian Malcolm. So Harrison Ford, Michael Keaton, Sean Connery, Laura Dern. Kind of a different feel to that movie, right?
I feel like, that's... it could have been epically. I think it would have made a whole different movie. I think Spielberg I think a lot of directing, and I don't know this because I'm not a director, but I just feel like you have to kind of go with actors' personalities sometimes and how they choose to play that role. Not everybody can walk into a role and play what you need that role to be. And first person that comes to mind is Michael Shanks from Stargate SG-1. If you told Michael Shanks, listen, you're going to play a dead turnip, Michael Shanks would make you believe that he was a dead turnip. There's certain people that can do it. I feel like everybody that we mentioned on this list is not those people. I feel like they're kind of, with the exception of Kurt Russell, who's I feel like has got a range, but he has that ha-ha kind of thing about him, and then Michael Keaton too. He's got a range, but he's still Michael Keaton. I really feel like it would have been a completely different movie, and maybe not as successful.
That's an interesting thought.
That's my take.
TJ, you got
my story, and I'm sticking to it.
When you said Robin Wright, it made me think Princess Bride. 'cause she was Buttercup. in that.
Buttercup.
And then I started thinking. Well, if Robin Wright plays what's her
Don't
face?
do it. Don't you do it. Don't go where I think you're going.
Go, TJ, go.
And Carrie Elvis.
No!
could be Grant, and then Mandy Patinkin could be oh crap, what's his
Malcolm. Actually, you know what? I totally take it back. I totally take it back. I'm in. That movie should have been made. That movie should have been made.
It would work.
Wow.
TJ, you stumbled onto a very beautiful idea.
Yes,
is what you did.
That is
is what you did.
That is one big pile of shit.
And then the guy that plays Inigo
Montoya.
Montoya.
And that's a big pile of shit.
That is a big pile of shit. And then, well, we can't get Andre because he's dead, but he'd make a good grandson. No,
what's the actor?
He'd make a good T-Rex.
What's the actor? The little snoveling shit that's the antagonist of the whole thing. What's his name? Oh gosh,
Wallace Shawn Benzini.
Well, yeah, but what's his Prince Humperdinck?
Having him be like Hammond, or no, him being God. We need him to be the role.
Benzini
The role
would
that
be the Newman character.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
You are all fools.
Well, okay. Well,
it's shaving cream. It's not shaving cream.
Well, okay. So if we're doing all that, I got to say that Samuel L. Jackson has to remain in his role.
Yeah.
Can't change that.
Nedry, give me the password. Inconceivable. No.
No.
We just made a movie.
I think we just made a really good movie.
This is going to be better than Ghost with a Gun.
I think we just made a really good movie. It's like, you remember all the things you love from Princess?
I'm just trying to think of some Grant lines from that movie that could be read with Carrie Elwes. Let's in that very smug Robin Hood Prince of Tights English accent.
Well, he's the one I feel most confident like could just read the back of like a butter, like just a stick of butter. Like, oh yeah, you've nailed the part. Good job, Carrie. Like, I don't know what else you want. Like, I don't know what else you want. I don't have any Dr. Grant quotes. What I do have is this. TJ,
Mr. Hammond, the power is back on.
TJ, give us some closing thoughts, just on life.
On what? On life.
To end the show, TJ. You're the last word.
Oh boy, I'm the last word. Don't eat yellow snow. Don't piss into the wind. And don't open the red door.
Chicks dig scars and glory lives forever.
Good night, everyone.
Bow, 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 bow. There it is. This